Welcome to the White Knight Theater. A superstar is entangled in a murder scandal, giving rise to a series of thought-provoking labels: race, love, betrayal, fame, wealth, and judicial justice. How did O.J. Simpson climb from the ghetto to the top of the pyramid? What secrets are hidden behind his sunny smile? Is it possible that he could have killed two people? Produced by Himalaya, the second episode of the Chinese-American detective Lee Chong-yu's crime drama, The Imperfect Suspect. Mr. Simpson, we are officers from the Los Angeles Police Department. We are here regarding the murder of your ex-wife, Nicole Brown, and we need you to cooperate and provide more information. Goodness, I still can't believe poor Nicole. We'd like to ask you a few questions about the situation. Please cooperate. To what extent do you currently have information on the perpetrator? You have no right to ask, Mr. Simpson. I am Johnny Cochran, and I participated in the initial crime scene investigation. There are cameras here. Let's go around the back. In the footage, the LAPD officers are clearly trying to avoid the media, but our reporter ultimately managed to capture this exclusive and precious scene. What you are about to see is the first face-to-face confrontation between LAPD officers and the renowned superstar O.J. Simpson at 10:50 a.m. on June 13, 1994, in the courtyard of Simpson's mansion. What do you want me to do? Cooperate with you? What's this about? You suspect me. I'll let go. Be careful. I'll sue you. Please cooperate. Luke, come over here. Tell them to let go now. I'm a police officer, but I'm also a lawyer. I'm responsible for telling you that this handcuffing is improper. He's just a suspect, not a criminal. Based on the evidence we already have, I'm asking your subordinates to let go. Be smart about this, or I'll sue you. Sir, Mr. Simpson, I'm sorry. I just wanted to serve a subpoena. I just wanted to ask you a few questions. Sir, I'll open it for you now. Can we all calm down? You can't imagine how painful this is for me. She was the mother of my children, a woman I love. I'm really sorry, sir, but we do have some questions we'd like to ask you. Would you be able to come back to the station with us? O.J., you don't have to agree to their request. It's not legally required for you to do so. No, Robert, I have to go. If I don't, it'll look like I'm hiding something, like I actually did something. That's the latest report from our correspondent. The act of handcuffing does imply that O.J. Simpson has been defined as a suspect in the eyes of the LAPD. Within just a few dozen seconds, the handcuffs were removed and an apology was issued. What were they thinking? How can the LAPD maintain its credibility now? It can be affirmed that all of the police's actions against O.J. are based on a presumption of guilt, which is not in accordance with judicial procedures. Therefore, the situation of the glove that remained wet after a whole night is even more worth investigating. So, where do you think the next breakthrough will be? Well, I still have too many unknowns about O.J. himself, so I can't understand many of his actions. For example, he had his own private lawyer, Robert Kardashian, but he didn't let the lawyer go with him to the police station for questioning. Although Kardashian had long left the legal profession for business, he did graduate from the University of San Diego with a law degree. This time, he reactivated his lawyer's license specifically for Simpson. Such a supportive lawyer was available, yet O.J. didn't take him to the police station. Instead, he gave up his right to remain silent and talked with two detectives alone for over half an hour. Under normal circumstances, if O.J. were the murderer, knowing that his blood-stained gloves and socks were still in the guest room and on the bedroom carpet, he wouldn't dare to face the experienced detectives alone without a lawyer, even if he had 10 times the courage. For an ordinary person who has just committed a murder for the first time, especially after such an emotional upheaval, it is very easy to contradict oneself during the interrogation. Once he makes a mistake, his statement is likely to become an important piece of evidence for the prosecutor to charge him with the crime. In American society, the right of a criminal suspect to remain silent, known as the Miranda warning, is a household concept. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided for you. Do you understand these rights as I have read them to you? Isn't this segment present in all crime dramas? If he had something to hide, O.J. could have legally refused the interrogation or at least demanded that a lawyer be present during the questioning. But he didn't do that. However, it cannot be ruled out that this is related to his personality or background. Our job cannot overlook any suspicion. I think I need to learn more about O.J. Simpson, full name Orenthal James Simpson, an African-American born on July 17, 1947, in a San Francisco ghetto. Compared to his peers, O.J. Simpson was stronger, with broad shoulders, long arms, and astonishing running and explosive power, which allowed him to protect himself in the inevitable street fights. He could even easily defeat opponents older than him. This athletic talent was later discovered by O.J. Simpson. In high school, O.J. Simpson played as an offensive lineman and running back in football games, taking on the heavy responsibility of physical confrontation. In 1968, O.J. Simpson won the Heisman Trophy, a symbol of the most outstanding player in American college football. During his 11-year career, O.J. Simpson was the first NFL player to rush for over 2,000 yards in a 14-game season, a record that still stands today. Until 1994, before the incident, American media unanimously called him the best running back in the history of professional football. Growing up in the ghetto as a black child, what O.J. Simpson craved most was not money, but fame. O.J. retired at around 32 years old, but for him, it seemed like the end of one chapter and the beginning of a new one. He then entered the entertainment industry. Have you seen the movie Naked Gun? That crime comedy film. I haven't seen any crime movies like that. I always know the ending right from the beginning. My wife never liked watching such movies with me. She said I'm too annoying. Is that movie good? It's great. The movie was almost rated as the best comedy of the year and made it into the top 50 comedy films in the world. O.J. played the lead role. Oh, have you seen O.J.'s famous advertisement? The abbreviation O.J. is the same as orange juice. Yes, it was a promotional ad for orange juice by a Florida beverage company, and it unexpectedly became a huge hit. O.J. would be chased by white ladies at the airport, asking him to reenact the juice drinking scene from the ad. However, many people may not have known O.J.'s other side at that time. Dr. Lee, you can take a look at this newspaper. It talks about a deeper, more complex story about O.J., one beyond the rags to riches narrative. The abbreviation OG became a byword for American sports heroes and super advertising stars. After becoming famous, O.J. Simpson was known as a playboy and a whitewashed black man. Unlike other famous black athletes like Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson, who were interested in sponsoring activities and projects in black ghettos, Simpson showed no interest in such endeavors. Instead, he was keen on joining the affluent white golf clubs. Apart from his childhood friend Collins, all of his buddies were white. To distance himself from the black community, he even hired a speech coach to help him get rid of his heavy black ghetto accent through repeated practice. Besides his booming career, O.J. Simpson also had two well-known marriages. In 1968, O.J. Simpson married his high school sweetheart, Margaret Whiteley, who was also black, and they soon had 3 children. In 1979, their youngest daughter, Allen, drowned accidentally. That same year, O.J. Simpson met Nicole Brown, a blonde and blue-eyed white waitress, at an upscale restaurant and fell in love at first sight. Nicole was only 18 years old at the time. O.J. Simpson soon divorced his first black wife over infidelity, which made the gossip pages. In 1985, Simpson married Nicole, and they had 2 children together. In October 1992, O.J. Simpson and Nicole Brown broke up multiple times due to suspected affairs and eventually divorced. Judging from the achievements O.J. has made, he is definitely a man of high intelligence. It's not just that he can easily cross over into different fields. In a way, anyone who reaches the top in competitive sports cannot rely solely on physical strength or talent. Intelligence is a must. From this perspective, O.J.'s decision to face the police interrogation directly must have been a conscious choice. Yeah, my interest in O.J. is growing. Dr. Lee, you're going to get involved in this case, right? Give it a try. Can I formally apply to be your assistant and work with you? I know I'm still very young and you've never had an assistant before, but I really want to learn from you. Actually, my parents originally wanted me to take over their company and go into trade, but I insisted on becoming a forensic scientist like you. When I was around 17, my parents had already established themselves in the U.S. and owned nearly 10 laundries. They always told me that I had to study hard, take exams, and fulfill the American dream once again. The American dream. I never really believed in that term until one day when I heard you say in an interview that modern forensic investigation is like sailing in the open sea. It's both an art and a science. The captain can use the sun's position to adjust the ship's course on the nautical chart to adapt to tides and currents. However, if he feels that the ship is actually in another part of the ocean, he must use his intuition and common sense to make a judgment and get back on the right track. To uncover the truth, he should use all his life experience and knowledge. In other words, he must have common sense, a keen intuition, and a pragmatic approach. Then, he has to honestly explain what conclusion can be drawn from all the factors combined. That was so cool. At that moment, I felt like I knew what I could live for. I think this profession perfectly matches the first Chinese phrase I learned as a child: endless possibilities without limitations. I agree to your application, but there's one condition. I'll definitely meet it. Let's stop what we're doing and go have a meal. Did you not know there's a saying in China? Man is iron, rice is steel. Haha, let's go. You have to eat regularly. Try to be regular, or when you get to my age, why do you suddenly remind me so much of my dad? Where's your aura as a great detective? Wait a minute, let me check something. What's up, Dr. Lee? A friend from my newspaper told me that O.J. Simpson allegedly has fresh wounds on his left fingers. The media now suspects that these injuries were sustained during a struggle while committing the murders.